WEFT-Champaign 90.1. I'm back, and I'm not alone this week. I have a guest this week. I've known this man for about a year, something like that. I think a little bit more than that. I met him at Canopy Club. This man is amazing. He makes his own music. He rocks out on the guitar, and I think so many more that I can't even think. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Where are the Flamingos? How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. This is really awesome.
Hell yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself, man. I know some things about you, but let the people know about you.
Well, my name is Braedon Beard, and I'm from here, from Champaign, Urbana. Well, also like surrounding towns. I've jumped around everywhere in the central Illinois area, Champaign County. But I make like reggae, hip hop, fused with like ska, punk, rock and roll, and jazz in my music I make here in town. Been doing it for the past, under Are the Flamingos, probably for 6 years. And I do all the recording, producing, and composing and writing for my music. In the past, I've worked with some other people, but still doing it today, and it's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, man. So how did you get started?
Well, when I was younger, probably like 10 years ago, I started playing guitar. I started doing that, and I always had a big love for music growing up. Like, even before that, I kept like a clock radio in my room, and like I would just jam out to like whatever on that all the time. And my family too. My dad and my grandpa, they were both really big musicians. They both played bass, and they both like introduced me to so much music when I was younger, and they encouraged me to like learn some stuff, and I did, and I kept learning, and now we're here.
Hell yeah.
It was really fucking cool.
Yeah, playing the bass, that's like
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Like you gotta be like really disciplined in that too, because it got also some strong hands.
Yeah, man. Like bass came pretty naturally to me, like because of that too. Because like they showed me how to play like some of the first stuff on their bass guitars, whatnot, and I was like, this is really cool. And yeah, my grandpa, he had a clear bass, like it was acrylic, and like you could like, look right through it. It was really cool. Like I've only ever seen pictures of it, never saw it in real life, but
oh wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. And they're both really good. My dad, he was like in some metal bands in the 90s, and he played bass in them as well. He was doing some really cool stuff, like metal mixed with like I don't know, like grunge and like hard rock. It was really cool.
So is that what kind of influenced you into doing what you're doing? For listeners out there, you do kind of like a variety of stuff. It's kind of like that reggae, rock, like somewhat hip hop. I kind of put it in the same vein as kind of like a Sublime and like mixed with like 311. Is that what kind of influenced you?
Oh yeah, like so around that time, let's say like I don't know, like the early 2000s. My dad and like some of the music had just come out like years prior to that, and like my dad was still rocking with some of that stuff, and reggae was always kind of like a big part like of my childhood, and like my grandpa likes it, my dad, like they both really enjoyed it. It was very, very chill music, and yeah, like that always had been around, and that was always something that I just kind of kept in my heart. Like we would go hang out on the river or the ocean or whatever, and like that would just be the ultimate jam, man. Like Sublime specifically. And I also want to mention like Sugar Ray, like they were like the really big influences on me, and they were combining at the time like what they knew was reggae and combining with like some hip hop elements, and I always thought that was really cool. And now a lot of time has passed, and like those genres have all expanded out into different directions, and I've always trying to take part of the roots, but also just like combine it with what we got going on now. And like I think I'm doing some really cool stuff, but granted, I take a lot of inspiration from those guys, specifically. Big inspirations to me.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen you perform multiple times, and I always love what you do. Like I hype you up when you're on stage, off stage, everything like that. Like not trying to blow smoke up your ass for anybody listening.
I appreciate that.
I do honestly appreciate the music that you do. I know there's probably somebody listening to me and like, why you never say that? So for people listening, me and you have met through Canopy Club for like the open mic nights stuff that they had there.
Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then other shows that we've done together too, where I was the DJ on it. You'd come up and had to set up your amplifier and everything.
That was always fun. You know, sometimes I've had pictures, like I'll be setting up and I'll just have my ass right to the crowd. And like everyone's just looking at me, bending over, I'm mooning everybody. Hilarious.
Fuck.
But yeah, no, dude. Like, I get set up, play the beats, and then I'll play and I'll shred a little bit over it. It sounds so cool.
And it was always authentic too, because it was like, all right, we just had this rap guy, and then this rap guy, and then this rap guy with like way too much auto tune, and you can't understand what he's saying. No offense, but I'm sorry, you can't.
Real shit.
And then it's like how Dre talks about like beating Eminem. It is kind of that to me, where it's like, okay, he's got amplifier, he's got his guitar, now he's got his MacBook that he's connecting to this, and you were like chill as hell on stage, and then you just get into that mode of just like, fuck yeah, it's time to rock. It's like that Jack Black kind of thing, where it's like, I'm on stage, it's time to put that fucking shit on.
Hell yeah.
And then it's like jamming out. I was like, fuck. It is the energy that I think we all need in life, and your music definitely sets that tone for sure.
I appreciate that. It was, that's always, like, you hit the nail right on the head, man. Like, anytime like I'm on stage, I instantly just get in that zone. I'm there, and sometimes like I'll just be playing and I'll be like in the moment. I don't even know like I'm in the moment. Like when I'm there, it's just like I'm jamming and I'm just like shit. And then when I come off stage, I'm like, holy crap, that just happened.
Oh yeah,
and,
like you have that stage performance that I think a lot of people, it takes a while for them to get. Like, have you been playing? How long have you been playing?
Live, honestly, dude. When I first met you, that was like some of the first times I was actually like really playing my sound live. And so like I played some acoustic stuff. Like I had been busking for a decent minute, and that was about it. And then I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna get my beats, play that shit, and I did. And it's a high that I love chasing now. And truthfully, it stinks now because I have not played live in a minute, just because I've been taking care of some stuff in my life. But I'm working on new material right now, and like I'm really excited to show that to some people. It's gonna be really cool.
Hell yeah! Are you gonna look at like playing in different spots outside of the CU?
Oh, I'd love to. I would really like to. Like I played in Springfield and I played in Decatur. Those have been some pretty cool spots. The one I played a house show in Decatur, and that was a really cool experience. Like really tight area, and I played with some other musicians like that were doing like I guess like some indie rock stuff, like some bands, and there was some guy who did some EDM. He was doing some really crazy stuff. But yeah, I played there, and like there's some really cool people there. Like they really dug it out there.
Yeah, always going to different places, you meet like other talented people.
Mm-hmm. Springfield was cool too. Like I met some really awesome people out there. And yeah, I would love to go all around Illinois. Hell, I'd even go to I'd really like to go jam in like Tennessee, probably like Nashville or something, like open mic down there or whatever.
Yeah, the guests that I had on last week, they were talking about doing a lot of stuff in Nashville and just Tennessee in general.
That's fucking cool.
Have you been out of the States without performing anything? I know the last time, not the last time we saw each other, but a while back you were saying you're going to move to like Florida and do some stuff.
Mm-hmm. I have not played anywhere other than just Illinois, just around the towns here. I've been I've been down south. I've been in Florida and whatnot, and I've hung out down there. I played some guitar like on the beach and whatnot, but that's about it. Nothing crazy. I would love to tour. I'd love to just go down to a place. Like, I don't know. Moving's still kind of on the table for me personally. I'm just kind of figuring stuff out right now. But yeah, man, I like to play some other places though. It's good to break out. But it's cool being local. Like I love our local scene here in Champaign, Urbana. It's really tight here.
Yeah, it is.
Really friendly scene.
I wish like the scene would come out a little bit more. I wish it was a little bit more scene, not as underground as it is, because we really don't have that. Like you have it for like rappers and stuff, but you don't really have it for people outside of that. For people who play guitar or just in bands, stuff like that. I know there's people who are trying to get it out there. I know Gallery. Shout out to Gallery. They try to do a lot of stuff where it's like people who play violin and people who they're into jazz and stuff like that. But it's not as big. Like I'm hoping. I know they're talking about revamping the beat this year. I hope that they put somebody like you out there who can get that shine and recognition, because you deserve it. Instead of just having the same like hair metal band of like 4 middle-aged guys or whatever, or a tribute to Mary J. Blige or something like that. put some local people out there who are doing something that is out of the norm, especially if you're taking out the DJs, which do not take out the DJs, Champaign, Urbana.
Respect the DJs, guys. Come on. What are we doing?
For, I know you say you want to get into playing different spots in Illinois and in like different states. I've seen like Instagram and social media and stuff. You should be getting hit up by people like yesterday.
I don't.
Like
Not
honestly,
a single person.
like you are someone like who influences me to do more stuff because like you just put yourself out there. You'd be like, hey, got this show. It's gonna be here. You should come check it out. And then just like you on a guitar or something like that. Like I hate social media so much. Like I hate having to have it or use it as a tool for stuff like this. But I like seeing you like hustling, doing stuff like it. I get it, and I wish people could see it more. Like you should have way more followers and stuff. And I say that with a lot of people too. Where it's like people who are busting their asses, like they deserve that recognition over somebody who is just like, oh hey, like this is just me with some makeup, and then you get like 10,000 things, or some dude just doing some like random auto tune BS and be like, oh man, this is so fire. But like, no. I'm like, true talent, it feels like it doesn't get what they deserve, but they're like all this like cookie cutter crap. It just gets all the recognition in the world, and it's like you gotta work 10 times harder.
It's true. It's very true. And like social media, like I also find it just difficult. I just post whatever, and sometimes stuff is hit or miss, and that's fine. But like it does, like some stuff hits, some stuff doesn't, and like it's I don't know, it's just weird. Like I also wish I wouldn't have to like kind of go down that path. Like most people, like when it comes to social media now specifically, is like kind of like content creator type stuff, and like it makes it a little difficult in some areas because some people just want to make art and put it out there. That's it. And obviously with like that medium, working hard in it, like will get you places. But it's just kind of the changing of the landscape of how we market stuff. I guess art now. Like I like to think of like, okay, so media is always changing over time, and like before, like let's say like the 80s, 90s, like it was MTV. Like, and like I like to think of TV is like similar to like reels, like on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Yeah. It's very similar to that, like the way like you just flip through channels and like watch the latest thing, how to get your attention, whatever, through music, comedy, whatever. Yeah,
basically like, oh sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, but yeah, it's just kind of like, it's the same thing, but now it's just on a whole different level. Like there's got to be even more media. Like you have to, I feel like if you really want to like, I guess, see progress or like reach more people, you have to put in a shit ton of content for people just to shove in their face. And that sounds a little disingenuous sometimes when you're just trying to shove whatever, like it's kind of like the whole like quality over quantity, but more people are just looking for the quantity over the quality.
I definitely agree, because like both of us growing up, like it was a TRL. It was, for me, for sure, it was like 106 in Park on BET. It was so much, like all these different lists of like stuff, like MTV2 having like Monsters Ball and all the other like things that they were doing for music. And then now it just seems like you don't even see music videos from a lot of people. Yeah. It's just like, hey, here's this, and the song's coming out on this day, go check it out, and you'll see that like 10, 20 times of just like a little snippet of like the song and them doing something, but it's always like, check out this, it's coming soon, or check out this song, da 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 da.
Pretty much. Like,
so, the song, that actually might be the name of the song, da 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 da.
Yeah, it's definitely weird how like we market music now, and I don't really dig it too much. And to be honest, I don't really do anything too crazy. I just kind of get in front of a camera, play the song, and then that's it. And I like to do more. I'd love to do more, but I also just like, I don't know, my tools are not like where I'd want them to be. I guess I just kind of work with what I got, and that makes me happy. And I always try to push the envelope on that too. But yeah, social media is just weird, and it's got a weird grasp on the whole like scene, like popular, not popular. It's just weird.
Right. Especially for you, because like you produce your own music as well. Like you make your beats on top of like playing guitar. Like,
Yeah.
how was that process?
That process is fun. Because most of the time I'm making the beat, and then like I really just focus on like the drums, and then like I really like to focus on like, you know, bass. One thing about me, like progressively over time, like I've always liked the bass guitar, but for some reason I just love 808s. The 808s and the synth bass, it's so powerful. It's huge. It's like it carries the whole thing, and like I've seen so many cool artists do it. Like one person in particular, like Tyler Creator, we were talking about him a minute ago. He has some really cool bass in his songs, and I love doing that, and personally in my own music. And yeah, I just love that. And then so once I get the drums and the bass, then like, and you know, by that time I already have like the guitar melodies, whatever, picked out, and then I do that, add it all together, and then I just either write or have some lyrics that I have, and then there it goes. That's how I make my music pretty much. It's really good, and it's easy. It's a good flow, and like I get to push the envelope on that as well, like just different directions of like what I could do, what I couldn't do, like different guitar or like just like some other stuff. And like I also, one thing about me personally, like when it comes to my beats, they're all very, that's the problem with me. It's not a problem, but it's like very similar, because I like to play a lot of reggae, and that's a specific like style of playing, and like I like to mix it up a little bit, but I mostly kind of stick to that because for one thing, it's I can play the guitar. Like playing the guitar and singing is hard. Rapping and playing guitar is a whole other thing. And when you play rock and try to rap over, I always had a problem with that, because like you're doing some intricate things, and then you're also spitting a flow, and like that can be difficult at times, like depending on the flow. But the way reggae works, like I'm doing the chucks, like I call them chucks the way I play, and I can just do that and rap. And like I was like, this is cool. Like it makes it really cool. I can even like do it like acoustically too, because it kind of carried the way I'm playing it. Like it's percussive, and so like that kind of helps also like songwriting process as well.
Oh yeah. All right. What are some of like your highs and lows of you being an artist?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Highs is just playing live, having new songs, good crowd, everyone's kind of inclusive, everyone's having a good time, and then playing and shit. Like that's been amazing. And I guess like in just trying, a high for me is personally like how far I've truly come. It's been 6 years since I've been jamming and shit, and there have been some lows. Like I've worked with some people in the past, and unfortunately at one point in time, like first album, like I was a duo with another gentleman. He was named Dove. That was his rap name. He's really cool. He taught me everything I knew about like producing as well. And we were working together. We made our first album. It was awesome. And then somewhere along the way, it's kind of just like he wanted to do his thing, I want to do my thing, and yeah, we just kind of drifted apart in the music. And unfortunately, I still got to go under Are the Flamingos, and he was cool with that. And we're still on good terms. I actually saw him recently, but obviously he's not really doing music anymore either, which is that's the thing, man. Like sticking to music and working in it is like it's really difficult. Like sometimes you make decisions. Like, should I keep doing this? Should I not? Like, it's a hard decision. Like just in life, like sticking to something.
Yeah, you gotta make those judgments of like, is it what do you really still want to pursue? Is it gonna make you money? Stuff like that. Like, I feel like same as DJ wise, is it something that you want to stick to? Is it gonna make you money? Are you gonna go further into it? Stuff like that. Like you want to get to a point where it's not your, and I hate the word side hustle, but it's like side hustle, like, or secondary job. You want it to make it your primary. You want it to be like your money maker, because you want to be successful at it. You want to just be gigging and showing people like your art and how you do things.
Yeah, and like it being like your primary goal, like your primary job. Like that's everyone's goal with it. Like if you're like in an artist field, and it's very difficult to do, and it's very difficult to navigate. And like in that being it difficult, like it makes it, I guess, like it makes it just very difficult to just keep at it. And, like some people just kind of stop, and that's okay, because like you go in different directions in life, and like you learn new things, and a new opportunity might come. But you never also know what the opportunities might bring if you stay persistent with what you do in like anything.
I think for you, because the biggest thing I've heard from a lot of stuff is you always got to find like a niche, and I feel like for you definitely have that for mixing the hip hop and reggae and rock and so many other things to Um, I definitely think that you have something that a lot of people would want to hear, especially if you like kept going what you do,
Yeah.
and even once you even get bigger, I feel like it is nothing but highs for you.
I agree. I love continuing this song right now because truthfully I've been writing stuff right now. I've been like in just like kind of like experimentation writing mode right now. Like the last thing I released was in October, and yeah, that EP was pretty good. I really like the songs that I put on it. Like I did a cover and I did two like originals that were just really good. And ever since then, I've just been kind of just like working towards something else. I don't know. So like something that's really difficult with me is because I do stay true to myself and like what I've done in the past and also like what I've done now. But I always like to try to blend in something new, like with what I write and also like what my beats are and like what they sound like a little bit, like genre blending. You know, like my last album that I did in 2023, VHS Diaries. There were some jazz elements that I was adding to that, and then ever since then, I've learned even more stuff about jazz and like jazz chords and stuff, and it's just taken my songwriting and stuff that I'm working on right now just to a whole new level. And you can kind of hear that on my last CD, just a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
So I gotta ask, like, what are some of your like inspirations, like whether it be the song, whether it be the songwriting or how to pick like what to mix for like your songs when you're doing that genre bending?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know. It just kind of depends on the day and the vibe and just like where I am, like mentally or like like emotionally or whatever. Like, you know, jazz is really cool. Like jazz and bossa nova, like they have some really cool sounds and like some good chords that I've always like tried to encapsulate. Like, you know, like it's such a broad range of music from like sad to like even like some happy stuff, and that's been really cool. And let's see. And punk rock has been like a huge journey for me personally because when I was first starting out, I was playing in some punk bands before Are the Flamingos, and like I played in some punk and like indie kind of stuff, and like that was really cool. That like punk rock has kind of taught me a lot of like values that I hold in my heart for like just the community, myself, and just like the state of the world, whatnot, and yeah, any kind of like genre that I like that is just with me, something that I've hold my life. Like I always just try to keep the roots close as possible because like I just find it very like really important to me. And punk rock has done a lot for me personally, and like because before that I was listening to a lot of just like 80s hair metal rock and like rock before that too when I was just like a kid in high school. But then I dove more into punk rock and like that kind of just made me say fuck it. I can do anything I want with this music, and if people got a problem with it, that's on them, man. And yeah, it's just been, you know, combining that with like rock and like also combining it with like reggae and like chill stuff. It's weird. It's a weird medium because like I'll have like really hype stuff and like really just powerful guitar stuff, and then I'll go into just like some chill shit, and that, you know, that's kind of hard to like balance the two at times. Sometimes it's like a little more because then you're just like destructive, and then it goes right into like some mellow vibes and stuff, and it's always fun. But I like to try to separate the two. Like, you know, like I guess like, it's difficult, but it's really fucking cool.
Hey, going back to that with like trying to find like where you're going from, you know, happy or like that hardcore sound to like more like mellow. I feel like that's how a lot of people do make their like albums because you get that slower start, but then you build it up to like that big climax and then like bring it back down. Have you done like albums like that where it's like it just starts off like you get that kind of roller coaster ride?
Yes. So my an album I did called VHS Diaries. It's amazing. It's probably like one of my like I have other stuff I want to do, but like that album in particular will always probably stay with me like close to my heart because I was doing a lot of cool stuff with it. And the way I structured the album, like it started off with like just an instrumental, like something really cool. But what it was it was called Rewind Dub. And so what it was so I had the sound of like the rewinding of a videotape, and I realized something. That moment, the rewinding, you have to sit in that moment, just like listening to the reel, just kind of reeling back. I was like, you know what? I could put some music to this, and I did. And that was the intro, and it was very chill. It was very I don't know, I described it as like an open field or like the vastness of an ocean. And I was like, that's really cool. And I did. And then once that song was over, it went right into like a powerful song, and then I brought it back down with like another like chill song like called Jazzy Nights, and that was a really cool song. And yeah, like the whole album kind of just progressed like up and down. It was like a roller coaster, literally. And then Triumphant, really cool ending of a song. It was like I kind of tried to do like this prog rock kind of thing. It was called 19 Hits. It was something, I was just trying to make a long song, and I did that for the last song on the album. And it was good, and then it ended just really low. It's really nice. And then just rewind the tape right at the beginning of the album. And that, I really structured that album really good. And I'd like to do something like that again. And I'm working on stuff now. And truthfully, I'd like to have an album out by the summer. Like, because I've been, I don't know, like I want to make like a mixtape of sorts. It's not going to be anything like conceptual like my last album, but it'll be some really cool stuff, and there'll be high and low moments on there. And like I've been structuring it a little bit like to the way I want it to sound. I think it'll be really fun, cool.
Hell yeah, man! I can't wait to hear it. So I've been asking this a lot for my last guest, and I'll ask you.
Sure.
What would be your Mount Rushmore of rock?
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, that stumps some people.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's see. Ooh. Okay. Well, first I'm probably gonna throw up Eddie Van Halen because he's just one of the most go-to guitar players in my opinion. I love like what he's done. Ozzy Osbourne, like, you know, like I've been listening to Black Sabbath like ever since I was a little kid, like super cool. Ooh. Let's see. I got two more. I'm gonna do two more. This is a tough one. You know what? I'll say the Beatles because I just love the Beatles. Like they're a big inspiration to me, my family, and so many people. Like we're one of the biggest bands of all time. They set the standard. And then, you know what? For funsies, because I just love them so much, the Beach Boys. I don't think the Beach Boys get enough credit. They literally combined surf rock with like barbershop a cappella. And like, oh my gosh. And you know, they had some really great harmonies in their songs. It's just such good stuff. And like that's something I've been listening to for a long time. So yeah, those are probably like my four: Eddie Van Halen, Ozzy Osbourne, the Beatles, and the Beach Boys. Bam.
I'm about to play some Beach Boys later.
Hey, yes.
I have a classic rock hour after this, so yeah, I might have to throw in like a Beach Boys song or something.
Please.
Piggybacking off of that, if you could, like Dead or Alive, if you could jam out or be on stage with anybody, who would it be?
Wow.
It could be a full band, it could be just one artist. Dead or Alive, who would it be?
Here's a hot take. I think Leonard Skinner.
Eh.
They had a really cool sound. Like they did a good job of like combining like their southern roots with like that rock that they were doing. Like they had some really cool songs. I'll be honest, I don't like listening to Sweet Home Alabama anymore. That song is like...
I agree with you because it gets overplayed.
Yes, it does.
And I get it, but I was like, they have so many other better songs, like Give Me Back My Bullets.
Yes, dude, that's a great song.
Yes. Like Mr. Saturday Night Special.
On the Hunt was a really good song. I listened to that recently.
Give Me Three Steps. Like it's so many other better songs that they have, but I get why Sweet Home Alabama gets played so much because it is the most popular, but I feel like now it is getting to that point where it's overrated. I kind of feel that same way, but like Don't Stop Believing My Journey. It's kind of in that same vein. I'm just like, I get it, I like it. Like I might not turn it off depending on how I feel, but like can we get something else?
Like I want to go on the cut. I want to figure out like what they were making on the side and stuff. Leonard Skinner had some great songs, and you know I've heard like their like more slower stuff a bunch of times, like Tuesday's Gone or Freebird.
Yeah.
But like
Freebird is starting to get there too.
Oh, I know, and it stinks because I do like that song.
Yeah.
But man, they have some really good songs. Like my favorite song by them, "Call Me the Breeze," great song. I used to like I was making music under Where the Flamingos, but I used to jam with like this hippie band, and like we were just a bunch of hippies, and we were just jamming, and, like just doing whatever. And we played a bunch of songs, and I sang lead vocals, like some Leonard Skinner songs with them. It was such a good time.
Hell yeah. You've been doing a lot. Like I think being in all these bands definitely got you kind of getting your groove too, like what you want to do.
Like it really showed me like exactly, because like I always had questioning like what I was gonna do, because it was weird. So I'm not a band, and honestly, I truthfully don't feel like being in a band. Like I guess like
I mean, you're a one man band.
Yeah, I'm open to it though. Like Jamie was like, not Where the Flamingos, but like other bands and like doing other stuff. Like I'm totally down to do that. But in the past, when I started, I was looking to make a band, and fortunately, I also said, here's the band name, because I was just set on Where the Flamingos. I was like, as soon as I heard it one time, I was like, that's it. The name, sorry. The story behind the name, just real quick, like me and a buddy were just talking. We were talking about like zoos, and we were in high school, and then he mentioned Where are the Flamingos, and I'm like, what'd you say? What was that? Say that again. And then from then I started jamming, and I was looking to be a punk band, and then I don't know, I had some people that wanted to jam, and we didn't, and then my buddy, who was helped me, he was producing like my stuff in the beginning, and he was rapping on beats and stuff. He showed me more, like, he told me, he's like, dude, you should do hip-hop. I'm like, really? He's like, and I at that point also loved beats. Like, I was listening to hip-hop then too. And like, yeah, I was just like, the way beats are like really cool, and like I put some guitar over it, and like I've always heard of like the genre blending of like rock and hip-hop. It's been going on forever. Like,
I mean, yeah, we had, it started with like Aerosmith and Run DMC. We've had Linkin Park. We've had so many other different ones.
Yeah, and like Sublime, like they always were doing like rock and rap and stuff like
Rage
that.
Against the Machine.
Yeah, and so then started from there, and like ever since then, I'm like, I love making beats. I like the way you can chop samples and like put stuff together and like make it sound really cool. And there's awesome shreddy guitar on there, and I always just love that. And ever since then, I'm like, man, I can just make. And that's also why I've stayed so consistent with this, is because I've been working on my sound. And I'll be honest, it makes it a little difficult to just work by yourself a little bit, because then it's your own judgment. You don't have anyone else telling you like this sucks, or like this could be better, or like just a little improvement every now and then. But like, yeah, it's just it's kept me going, and I keep learning so much, and I personally like doing it by myself. It makes it really nice. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't even know, like solo artists, obviously. Like, I feel like hopefully, me personally, I would like to be maybe pushing that envelope, showing people like, since like recording software is becoming more available, and you can just do this on your own, and like, you know, it's hard to pay. It's hard, you know, you have a show and like you want to play with your bandmates. It's hard to pay all of them when you're like freaking. And you can't just keep paying people in beer, and like I can pay myself in beer. And I work hard, so
yeah, we all can't work on a hot dog and a handshake.
Real shit. And so, you know, and again, nothing against bands and like playing with bands. I would love to. It's just not the cards right now for me personally, at least. If I want to keep making the music that I genuinely hear in my head or whatever, like want to make.
Yeah. Going back to something you said that.
Sure.
You know, basically doing a lot of it yourself and not having people be like, oh, this is good, it was not. I feel like for what you do, I think it kind of is a good thing that you probably don't, because it's just like, I'll just put this out, let's see what happens, because you see a lot of these people out there who have like the yes men, or just like their friends who are kind of, it feels like there's a lot of people just hearing, like, getting told what they want to hear and not really getting that constructive criticism, especially when you really want it. And I think, a thing or two, like, I'm pretty sure you have those people who will tell you, like,
oh yeah,
hey, I'm not really feeling this, you know, whatever, but, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people really need, is just that those people who are just like, I wasn't really feeling it, I think if you tweak this or do this, or tell you that, like, yo, this is not what you need to do, like, or like switch it up, do something different. But I think for how your sound is, I would just put it out there, and then it's like, all right, this isn't like my best one, but I know what to do like in the future to make it better.
It's definitely like you know, I have friends too, like my buddies or whatever. I was like, hey man, look at this. This is something I did, and the listeners are like, oh, this is really cool. Or you know, a big inspiration to me, like when I release stuff, I always show stuff to my brother before I release it, and he'll give, and I trust his judgment on my stuff, just because. In fact, I'll say my brother probably has a better music taste than I do. But, and I'll tell him, like my last release, I'll show him my stuff. He's like, dude, those hi-hats are loud. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, they're loud. It's like ear piercing. I'm like, should I turn it down? He's like, you should turn it down. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. And then I do. And then usually I'll get over it if I'm not happy with it or happy with it. But sometimes I don't take his opinion, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you don't know, man. What do you know? And, you know, my brother, he doesn't play any instruments. He loves music, but he's just never picked up the guitar or bass or anything. Not a big singer either. Never really seen him sing too much. Just a little bit, but nothing crazy. I've always been like a big singer, like in my family. Like my dad, he terrible singer. No shade to my dad. I love my dad, but I've seen him sing a couple times, and
he's listening right now.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be listening. Freaking
this is archived, so you can listen to it later.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, he's never been a big singer, but then I've always just been singing, and I've always kind of doubted my singing. One band, like one of my favorite bands, like when I was like 14, 15, Green Day.
Hell yeah.
But Billy Joe's voice is very low when he sings. I'm like, oh shit, I can sing low. I didn't know I could have to, because I always took inspiration from like Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and they were at high singing voices, and I'm like, shit, I don't think I can reach those notes. I'll just play guitar. But then I heard these guys singing, I'm like, oh shit, I might have to do that.
I don't consider Billy Joel's like his voice that low, because because you hear like Jim Morrison, who his voice is a little bit like lower and deeper. Low. Like his is kind of like that punk style somewhat. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'd say it's more like mid range. It's not like super like low.
Yeah. That was definitely like more my speed, like because I can't hit those high notes. And you know, some songs I've actually recently I feel like my voice is like it's changed, but like I've learned new techniques to sing higher or whatever, but nothing too crazy. But you know, Billy Joe's voice was always an inspiration to me because he was like right in like the my range, and I was like, all right, I can do that, and I did.
I see his kind of like the same as like Mark Hoppus and stuff. Like it's not like super high, but it's just like dude talking.
Yeah, I love Blink.
Same.
Yeah.
I just like I was listening to Two Bears One Cave, and they had Travis Barker on there, and I learned a lot about him, like about the plane crash he was in, and then how they said he would never like walk and stuff again, and how he's been doing like a lot of these 5Ks. So, and honestly, like listening to that, even though like Bird Crash was fine, but he in between whatever. Like listening to him like talk about all the stuff going on, and the fact he does seem like this average guy, even though he's married to Courtney or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him. Like I'm glad he's healthy. The fact that the way he made it seem like he's not even supposed to be living right now, but he like basically just supposed to be in a wheelchair.
He beat the odds for sure. The guy's a freaking unit on the drums, man. He's like probably definitely one of the best drummers of this generation for sure. Like, oh my gosh, he's actually like insane, and he's still like jamming like really hard now. Like Blink's all back together, and they're touring. Like they've been touring. And
I think they're doing one. From what I've heard on that podcast, I think they're doing one more tour. Apparently, like he got so like frightened to go on planes, he was taking like boats like overseas. It was like he was like, oh yeah, I'd be on there for like 2 months, like months or like weeks or whatever on a boat. And then the guys would leave on a plane like the day before and be like, all right, we're in Germany or we're whatever. He's like, oh, cool, I'm still on the seat. So it just, that dude has lived a life that I could never imagine, but also it is like, it feels like it's that part of the rock star lifestyle, especially around that, early 2000s or like late 90s, early 2000s. But then seeing like where he is now, like I'm glad he's where he is. Like,
yeah.
He said he doesn't drink, he doesn't do any drugs, anything. Like he's a cool dad that you want to be around, and the fact that he has I think like 2-3 kids. I know.
That guy's tatted up too. Like even the top of his head is tatted.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine getting tattooed on the top of my head.
I'm too tender-headed for that shit.
Oh my gosh. I'd love to get more tats. I have like none. I have 2.
I have 2, and I want to get more. Like I want to get just sleeved out or something.
I feel that.
All right, last question.
Sure.
And this is the most pertinent one of all time.
Okay.
You traveling, or even if you're in town, it's late night, or just one of your favorites. What is your favorite fast food franchise?
Oh man, this is hard. So right now, I like the past like 3 or 4 weeks, I've been on a diet, and since the beginning of January. I had kind of taken fast food off my plate pretty much. But here's my like, I love McDonald's. I don't care. Like that, it's just go to. I love the way it tastes. I don't care what anyone says. I know people will say it's probably trash or whatever. Man, I do love McDonald's. I haven't had it in forever, and recently I saw a video of someone eating some, and I was like, fuck, I want to eat that. That sounds so good.
I don't think I've had McDonald's in like months, cause it's just so expensive now.
Yeah.
And
straight up, like anywhere, like any fast food, like it's just like I'm spending probably like if like I'm getting like a meal and then like a drink and like it's probably like $15-$20 sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends on like the place you're going to. If you're going to the cheap, it's probably like $15-$12, but still that's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I went to Wendy's a while back, which I'm probably not going back. This was when they were doing like the 2 for $6, 2 for $7 for like whatever, and I just wanted nuggets, and honestly, like I kind of don't like going to fast food places now because the people that work there, like, depending on where you go, they're
not happy.
Assholes. And sorry to say that on the mic, but I get that you're working a job that you probably don't want or whatever, but like catching attitudes, doing whatever is not the way to go. And it just annoys me because it was like one thing. So I didn't tell them I wanted the 2 for $7, and the lady in the window was just like, "Oh, you're supposed to say that now." I'm like, "You can't void it. You can't go back." And then she had to get the manager, and she's giving me the stink eye the entire time. And he comes up and is like, "Oh, next time, just let us know. We appreciate it." I'm just like, this is something that y'all had for like weeks now. It wasn't just like today just automatically went on. Like y'all knew about this. I'm pretty sure y'all have like meetings or whatever about this. Like you're in the back of Wendy's to be like, all right, we got this promotion going on. We're gonna be selling a lot more nuggets and Days singles or whatever.
Oh shit. It's sad when no, I don't know. Like, it stinks when like the restaurant isn't like keeping up to standards. Whatever I don't know what the fuck they're doing at Chick-fil-A, but they're always happy and always take care of it. My pleasure. I'll hear other like fast food or like any just like food service in general. Like they're like thank you and they say my pleasure and I'm just like, is this Chick-fil-A? What are you doing? But they're always happy there and it's so weird. I don't know why they are, but they are.
Still never been to Chick-fil-A.
Really?
I probably will never go. I know they still have the whole thing with like them kind of being gay basher. I should probably read this real quick. The views and opinions expressed on the air are solely those of the speaker and do not necessarily represent those of WEFT-Champaign Prairie Air Incorporated Station Management, the Board of Directors, or the WEFT Associates. All right, back to what I was saying. Like, I know they are like definitely they're like anti-gay and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they're like super Christian or something like that.
Yes, they are.
I've heard they pay decently or whatever, but I think that's kind of like you cross the barriers, like do it. Which I'm pretty sure there's gay people who eat Chick-fil-A and they do whatever.
Have to, man. That Chick-fil-A sauce is fire, dude.
Never had it.
Like
it's
pretty good.
I used to like so before I moved here. I lived in Wichita, Kansas, and where I used to live at, I was adjacent to a Chick-fil-A, to where no matter what time of the fucking day it was packed out to the point like it used to be packed out on the street, and they have to block off the street so that way people would go around the other way because it would cause traffic.
Jeez, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah, people go crazy for Chick-fil-A. I'll never understand it. I don't know why you want to pay $10 for a 4-piece nugget.
It's not that good,
but
it's alright. I don't remember the last time I actually went. I tell you what though, this is not a place I go to very often, but when I do, I love it, and it's like White Castle. I love White Castle, bro.
Okay, now you're talking about language, because that is my favorite.
Oh my god, really? Yes, dude.
You are speaking my language now, my guy. Because I've had so many people telling me that like White Castle is garbage. I was like, no.
Like, what are you talking about?
White Castle is the best thing to have. It's you get a couple sliders for a few bucks. Yeah. You are made. Like that's why I cannot like I told you about I'm going to St. Louis, and for people listening, I know you've heard me say this for like the past couple weeks, whatever. I'm going to say it again. In a couple weeks, I'm going to St. Louis to see a hockey game, and I know I'm making a detour. Or once I get there, and me and my dad meet each other, I'm like, we going to White Castle.
Hell yeah!
Like going to White Castle, getting stuff there, and then getting something to take back, because I'm definitely getting like a crave case of something to take back with me, or at least like what I usually do: get 10, 12 double cheeseburgers, have them put in a bag, eat the 2, and then have the 10 for later.
Their sliders are so good, and
Yeah.
they're steamed. You know, they steam them, whatever, and like they're steam. You ever heard of The Simpsons? Like,
The
steamed hams. Yeah, I always think of that after I think of White Castle. The closest White Castle that I know of is like up north in Bradley, like which is like I can't remember.
It's like an hour or so.
Yeah, and me and buddies would go up there. We drive up there. It's fun, and like those things, you can just destroy so many of those. Like they're so small. Oh my god, they're so. Yeah, I just love White Castle so much. I wish there was one here.
Same.
Oh
I
my gosh.
I will do that petition. Like I'll be the first name on there. Be like, we need a White Castle in CU. Like
Now.
Yes. Like I tell anybody, and I'll say it again. It is the best when you're drinking, when you're smoking, when you do whatever. Like if you partake in the devil's lettuce, as they say, like or whatever you do, it is the best thing to have. Like I get pizza and wings on. Like no. You need some White Castle.
You heard it here, folks. White Castle is top tier fast food.
Yes.
Right there. Yes.
It is. Like I love Culver's, I love Wendy's, I love a bunch of different stuff, but White Castle is number one for me. Grew up on it. I will never stop eating it, and I don't understand. I think the reason people don't like it, and I've had coworkers tell me it was like once you eat, you gotta use the bathroom. Yeah. I'm like, I've never had that problem.
I personally never had that problem either.
Like they said the same thing about Taco Bell. I rarely have had that problem. I'm probably getting Taco Bell once I leave here. And rarely had that problem. Like
they're bringing back the Doritos Locos Taco. Well, the
they've had
the Cool Ranch one.
Oh yeah, They had that like their like Taco Bell TED Talk thing, whatever, like expo.
Yeah, I thought that was so weird. I was like, they literally have like, we're announcing the new iPhone, but it's actually tacos.
Yeah,
like, that's so funny.
Yeah, I saw a bit of it. It was like we had the crispy chicken, not crispy chicken taco. It was like the biscuit taco. Like we don't know what we were doing. We had this thing and that thing, and what were we thinking? And then now they have it. They're gonna have like chicken tenders with like Mike's Hot Honey Diablo sauce and all this other stuff. Like they doing a lot. It's supposed to be like a new Baja Blast coming out. It's like Baja Blast Midnight.
That sounds good. I love Baja.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best. Like if I had to go anywhere for like an exclusive drink, it would definitely be a Baja Blast.
Now it's everywhere. They get it at stores and everything. I love it. The past summer they had a I don't know, it was like a fruit punch Baja, or it wasn't fruit punch. It was something like that.
It was something like Baja. They had like 2 different flavors. There's just Mountain Dew talk at this point. But yeah, like they always have like these flavors that they have for Mountain Dew. I used to be like the Mountain Dew connoisseur, like try to have all of them, and then I go back and be like, oh, there's these that they have in like the UK only and all this stuff. I didn't like the one that they had at KFC, the Lightning, whatever.
Yeah, the Livewire. Wait,
no, not Livewire. No. It was like Lightning something.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like Electric Lightning or something like that. It was
trash.
It was around the same time they brought up the Cheeto chicken sandwich. I'm just like, this seems like because it was like the Cheeto cheese, but it was supposed to be like a sauce. And I think they put Cheetos on the chicken sandwich, and I'm just like, I feel like this is diabetes and gout at the same time. And I know people who ate it. I'm just like, I'm a fat dude. I got a big back and all that stuff. Like I know big backs. Like I'm a big back. That is something I was not gonna touch at all.
I'm a big guy myself, man. Freaking like, Cheetos are pretty awesome. There was a restaurant I went to here in town. It was like a local place. They had like a flaming hot Cheeto burrito.
Those are good. I've had those before, like that, and I've had Doritos in a burrito before too. Yeah. Dorito nachos are fire. I make those if like because I don't really like regular tortilla chips. They're fine, but give me a Dorito taco, Dorito logo taco, sure, but Dorito nacho any day. Like it's the best. Like I had, it's a spot I used to go to in Wichita called Alejandro's. And they make one, and the thing is huge. I might have to show you a picture of it later. Yeah. Like, it was great. It's like $12, but I don't get it. Because they give you a lot. I'm getting hungry.
No, I feel that, dude.
you sent me some songs,
Yeah.
and I got to make sure my listeners hear it. So first up, we got Tiki Head, and then give me $5 sips out on the beach. Tell me about the song.
All right. Well, Tiki Head was really cool. That one. So that song in particular was just sporadic. I had no because when I come up with songs, like I come up with the concept and then I work off of that. That one in particular, I was working on a song, lyrics were flowing out. I'm like, all right, bars, great. And so in my house, like something I've owned for a very long time, like I don't know, my family's always been like, you know, on the tropical side of things. We've always had just like knickknacks and like just weird stuff, dolphins, freaking like little oceany things, and like we've always just had vibes in my family personally.
Hell yeah.
And my dad had purchased like a tiki head, and it was in the shape of a guitar, and we'd had it ever since I was little. And and then once I moved out, I took it with me and I put it in my apartment, whatever. And then one day when I was jamming, I just look over and I see it and I'm like, hey, I should make a song called Tiki Head. That'd be cool. And so then that song was really cool because there was a lot of like rage and aggression in like those lyrics. And I was also calling out, I love the Grateful Dead personally. And the Grateful Dead had an interview, Jerry Garcia, he was talking about how rap isn't music. And I was like, huh, that's really weird. And you know, and he had a song called Truckin'. And they had like, I don't even know if they knew or what they were doing, but like they kind of had this like flow in their song in that. It was kind of like very similar to like a rap flow of sorts. And it was really cool. And so I took those specific lyrics and just put them into my song anyway. And just that, I don't even know. Just like, I just thought it was weird that he just didn't even consider music. And like the 80s and 90s, like it seemed like a lot of people didn't even consider like rap music because they were taking like samples of like, you know, like cutting like records and whatnot, and, like DJing and like rapping over it. People just didn't consider that music, which I was like, that's weird. Just
I mean, it was still the same when we got into like the 90s and stuff, where it was like, this isn't real music, and it was like, now it's the biggest thing damn near.
Mm-hmm. And people have innovated it and made it even cooler than it was, and so like I assume like Jerry was saying just, I don't know, maybe just didn't see the vision or whatever, but I decided to
He was just old school dude.
Exactly.
Like, what is this?
And yeah, I just thought that was really cool to put into my song. And like, yeah, Tiki Head, like that one's really cool because I was doing some really cool stuff with guitar, like some new stuff that I'd never done before, like some inspiration like I stole from like Eddie Van Halen, like the tapping technique. But I did something really cool with it. I thought it was really awesome. And yeah, the bars were sick. Really, overall, really cool song. And that song had more of like a ska rhythm, more than just like a reggae rhythm. It's very like chill and slow, but that one had more like that. And then I was spitting bars on top of it. It was awesome. One of my favorite songs that I put out.
And then tell us about $5 sips on the beach.
That one was that song's coming up on a year. I put that song out a year ago in March of 2024. And it was supposed to be something, it was a song that was supposed to be part of a project that was just bigger, but I never ended up going through with it. But that song was really cool because it was the lyrics on that, I was talking about like my own struggles with like alcohol. And it's weird now because back then I was like not drinking as much. I'm drinking way more than I was back then now. So like now when I listen to the song, I'm like, fuck. And it was talking about like just my demons and all my like just stuff that associated with alcohol and like myself personally. And yeah, that one was a really cool song. And specifically, I got the inspiration for it because I would get drunk and I would be hanging out with my friends and I'd walk home. I would insist on walking home. And I would be walking home with like half a case of Busch Light in the dark at like 2 a.m. drunk. And that was kind of like my wake up call and also my inspiration for the song. And so the name, I'm gonna say like where the name came from because I don't normally drink like cocktails or whatever, but what happened was I was driving by Applebee's and they had like some promotional deal going on at that time. And it was $5 sips on the beach. And I'm like, hey, that'd be a cool title song. And yeah, that's exactly what I did. That was a cool song. That one that was different for me because I was doing like jazz influences on that one. It was kind of similar to like in the vein of a song called One of These Nights by the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of the inspo I was going for with it. And that was overall a really cool song too. Really good single.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm going to play it right now on the show. Everybody stay tuned. Let's get, man, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
You're going to stick around here for a little bit. And here is Tiki Head and $5 sips on the beach right here on the Midnight Drive.